Fair enough, fair enough, fair enough. Thank you.
I know there's some fault there. They that fixed it. That's what we're here.
I don't think that's.
I was wondering if council said no.
Yeah, I was up at
Yeah, well, they had a
Band in the Moon or something. Band in the
had a free notice,
Okay.
which is fine. It wasn't something I wanted done.
It was
Yeah.
close as you can get to Scottish.
I don't think people mind. Three or 5 lots.
So it was impossible.
That's,
Pardon?
you know.
So it's impossible to find it all in the high rush.
But, like I said,
They had
at one time, Ladue and Clayton was complaining about urban sprawl. It's happened.
that it was hard to, you had no depth perception.
It's
No
interesting.
plan. It's just
Definitely
things.
going to choose a place in
Green and down in the distance, you can see them. You're just,
They don't care, they care about stormwater
but the first two
Creeker
courses
Road.
were way,
and after that rain last
double,
year.
two of them that are
Oh,
like,
yeah. That's a really bad.
the first two that played on the first day. I was a last minute guy, couldn't make it. I was the last minute, hey, coach, you want to go, and, oh, it's all flat. There's no, you gotta walk. It was like playing with Clancy. These two courses.
Yeah, go to,
Oh, yes.
we played last year, we're in the Lake of the Ozarks. It rained every day. We couldn't take cars out. I felt like I walked 100 miles that weekend, because you're going, oh, man, they're over.
That first day, there was 35,000 still. I had to walk almost 14
By the way,
miles.
this is my
By the time I got back to the
I know you're
hotel,
right.
the lodge,
I was thinking
I
about
was so tired.
Hey, what about that?
Oh, plus
I
what's
get
worse
that.
is it's
That's when
sloppy.
it's naturally early,
It's
it
sloppy.
gets shorter.
Welcome to the April 16th, 2025 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. At this time, I would request that everyone please turn off or mute all cell phones and other electronic devices. Also at this time, I would invite everyone to stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Applications for temporary fireworks stands heard during tonight's meeting will be voted on by the Planning and Zoning Commission. The vote on these temporary fireworks stands will be final. Only a recommendation for denial will be heard at the County Council meeting at their Monday, May 12th, 2025 meeting. Applications for conditional use permit requests and rezoning requests will be heard during tonight's meeting, and the commission will vote on these applications and make a recommendation to the county council. These applications will then be scheduled to be introduced before the county council at their Monday, May 12th, 2025 county council meeting. Public comment for conditional use permit requests will be taken during tonight's meeting and at the county council meeting on Monday, May 12th, 2025. Public comment on conditional use permit applications will not be taken at any meeting of the county council held thereafter. Applications for preliminary plats held during tonight's meeting will be voted on by the Planning and Zoning Commission during the meeting. The vote on preliminary plats is final. Only a recommendation for denial of a preliminary plat would be heard before the county council at their Monday, May 12th, 2025 meeting. The following documents are introduced as a matter of record for this evening's public hearing and regular meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Those documents are the Unified Development Ordinance of St. Charles County, including zoning maps, the year 2030 Master Plan for St. Charles County, which includes the year 2030 Future Land Use Plan Map, and the Rules of Order and Procedure for the Planning and Zoning Commission as adopted by Resolution 21-01. I see that we have a quorum. Is there a motion to open the meeting?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, sign aye.
Aye.
Okay. Off we go. We have a real long agenda today. The first part should go pretty quick, the fireworks stand applications. However, I did want to remind everyone that our rules of procedure for our meeting, if you're going to speak, please fill out a card. Lori has them up here. This way we get your name and address correct in our minutes. Also, when you come to speak, you only address the council, the commission rather, not the council, the commission. You have to be sworn in under oath. I will do that. In addition, since we do have a really long agenda, each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. Okay. And as we get more and more speakers, things become repetitive. I'll ask people that if you're repeating about traffic or density or those things that someone's already talked about, that if you don't have something new to present, then we'll move the hearing along. This is during the public hearing phase. So what happens, I read the application into the record. We'll ask the staff for their report and their recommendation. We'll ask the applicant to come forward, present their application, ask any questions, and then we'll have the public hearing. Anyone here that wishes to speak regarding that application has the opportunity to speak. Once the public hearing is closed, we will take no other comments from the public regarding that application. We'll ask the applicant to come back, address any issues that may have arisen during the public hearing, and then we will proceed to vote. That's pretty much how the meeting operates. There's been no changes or additions or deletions to the agenda. For the record, at last month's meeting, which was shortened rather quickly because had to vacate the room because of smoke, the 2025 fireworks stand regulations were adopted in that meeting. So we don't need to do that. So the first item is a conditional use permit, 3120 West Clay Street, application number FWK 25-01, property owner TGL Properties LLC, applicant is Southern Safari LLC, proposed use of temporary fireworks stand June 25th through July 26th of 2025. The zoning is C2 General Commercial District. The location is 3120 West Clay Street on the northeast corner of the intersection of West Clay and Campus Drive. This is located in Council District 6. Staff.
This location has been approved for a fireworks stand for several years now. It's at the St. Andrews Plaza off West Clay in the parking lot. Over the years, staff hasn't received any complaints, so we recommend approval subject to the conditions listed in the staff report.
Okay. Any questions for staff? Hearing none, ask the applicant to come forward. If the applicant's here, don't see the applicant, we'll open the public hearing for FWK 25-01. Mr. Denoff. Evening, Arnie.
Good evening.
You solemnly swear or affirm that you'll tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in these proceedings under the pains and penalties of perjury.
I do.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. My name is Arnie C. A.C. Denoff, County Public Advocate, mailing address P.O. Box 1535, O'Fallon. I wanted to go through a couple different items. I think our firework regulation, we need to rework it and make sure that safety is the number one concern. I think there can be some tweaks and amendments to make our regulations better to protect the public and residential neighborhoods who are around these fire stands. The utmost concern and priority of the fireworks regulations, promulgated rules, must be safety. Going through the state House of Representatives and the state Senate is current legislation trying to crack down on certain sales of industrial or commercially graded fireworks. We want to ensure that the fireworks at these fireworks stands are domestic type grade that you would shoot off at your home. That's state legislation. It's kind of stalled, so I'm not exactly sure if it'll get over the finish line this year or not. We want to make sure that the correct setbacks are adhered to at every one of these tent sites, that there's a fire extinguisher available, that the tents will withhold the extreme weather concerns that we've had with hailstorms, winds, and that type of thing. We don't want to get anybody injured or that those tents to collapse for some reason in a windstorm or a torrential downpour. The fees. I think that we need to revisit the fees and make sure that we're recouping inspection costs, community development costs, code enforcement costs in terms of what we expend in terms of expenses. We need to recoup those costs and make a little bit for county services and county response time of police services and those type of necessary services that we offer as a county. There should be no discharging of the fireworks at any of these facilities, and we want to make sure that the trash and debris is picked up and the appropriate receptacles are there. For this first application, I don't have any concerns with this application. They've been without any concerns or any complaints since 2019, and so I would recommend approval. Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
You want all of your prior comments with the other applications?
Yes, and I may come up and testify additionally on a couple additional ones that I have some concerns on down the agenda.
Not a problem. For the record, Mr. Denoff's comments will apply to all of the conditional use permits regarding fireworks applications.
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak regarding FWK 25-01? Hearing no one, we'll close the public hearing. Ask the applicant to come back. Applicant's not here. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, the chair will entertain a motion to approve FWK 25-01. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Bamer. Is there a
Second.
Mr. Shell. Ms. Barr is not here. Mr. Baker.
Yes.
Mr. Cornwell.
Yes.
Mr. Fromm.
Yes.
Ms. Kirchner.
Yes.
Ms. Bamer.
Yes.
Mr. Shell.
Yes, sir.
And I vote yes. Okay, that application passes. Next is conditional use permit, FWK 25-02, 58 West Highway Inn. Property owners Stanley and Beth Carter, applicant Southern Sapphire LLC. Proposed use is a temporary fireworks stand, June 25th through July 6th of 2025. Zoning district is C2, general commercial district. Location is 58 West Highway Inn on the south side of Highway Inn, 350 feet west of Berrien Lane, near the city of Wentzville. This is in Council District 2. Staff.
This is another location where fireworks stand has previously been approved. It's located directly west of Mobile on the Run at the intersection of Highway N and Highway Z. We've received no complaints and staff recommends approval, subject to the conditions listed in the staff report.
Any questions of staff? Hearing none, I'll ask the applicant to come forward. Applicant's not here. Now we'll open the public hearing for FWK 25-02. Anyone wishing to speak regarding this application? Seeing no one, we'll close the public hearing, bring this back to the commission. For the record, the property owners, Stanley and Beth Carter, are personal friends of mine, but I have no financial interest in this property or with the Carters. Any questions? Chair will entertain a motion to approve FWK 25-02. Is there a motion? Mr. Fromm made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Cornwell made the second. Ms. Bamer, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Cornwell?
Yes.
Ms. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Shell?
Yes.
Mr. Fromm?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Oh, Mr. Baker, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Getting ahead of myself. Next is conditional use permit FWK 25-04, located at 910 O'Brien Road. Property owner is West American Fireworks Stands LLC. The applicant,
We missed one.
did I miss one?
Yep. We're on C.
Oh, C, I'm sorry.
I thought you just wanted to go in a different order.
Yeah, no. This is conditional use permit located at 3803 Highway D. Applicant is FWK 25-03. Property owner is Osage Land Holdings LLC. The applicant is Show Me Fireworks Martin Fears. This is proposed use as a temporary fireworks stand, June 25th through July 6th of 2025. This is zoning district is C2 General Commercial District, located at the northwest corner of Highway D and Highway Double D, located in Council District 2. Staff.
This is the second year for this fireworks stand. It's located at Highway D and Highway DD, across from Double D Market. We've received no complaints, and staff recommends approval, subject to the conditions listed in the staff report.
Any questions for staff? Hearing none, we'll ask the applicant to come forward. Applicant's not here. We'll open the public hearing for FWK 25-03. Anyone wishing to speak regarding FWK 25-03? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Ask the applicant to come back. No applicant. Any questions for staff? Chair will entertain a motion to approve
Motion.
FWK 20-03. Ms. Bamer made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Cromwell made the second. Mr. Fromm, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Baker?
Yes?
Ms. Bamer?
Yes.
Mr. Shell?
Yes.
Ms. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Cornwell?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Now I can get back to where I was. These are all the same. Next is conditional use permit FWK 25-04, located at 910 O'Brien Road. Property owner is West American Fireworks Stands LLC. The applicant is Godard Construction LLC, Wesley S. Godard. Proposed use is temporary fireworks stand, June 25th through July 6th of 2025. The zoning district is C2 General Commercial District. The location is at 910 O'Brien Road, east side of O'Brien Road, 620 feet north of Veterans Memorial Parkway, adjacent to the city of O'Fallon. This is located in Council District 4. Staff.
This location has also been approved for a fireworks stand for multiple years, located just south of Interstate 70. Staff has received no complaints. Staff recommends approval, subject to the conditions listed in the staff report.
Any questions for staff? Hearing none, I ask the applicant to come forward. You solemnly swear or affirm that you will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in these proceedings or in the pains and penalties of perjury.
Yes, I do.
Please state your name and address for the record.
It's Wes Godard, number 2 Godard Court, O'Fallon, Missouri.
Okay, any questions for the applicant? Seeing none, thank you, sir.
I'm good, thanks.
You're good. We will now open the public hearing for FWK 25-04. Anyone wishing to speak regarding this application? Seeing no one, we'll close the public hearing for FWK 25-04. Bring this back to the commission for consideration. Any questions, comments regarding this application? Hearing none, Chair will entertain a motion to approve FWK 25-04. Ms. Kirshner made the
Second.
motion. Is there a second? Ms. Bayer made the second. Mr. Cornwell, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Shell?
Yes.
Mr. Baker?
Yes.
Ms. Bamer?
Yes.
Mr. Fromm?
Yes.
Ms. Kirchner?
Yes.
I vote yes. Now I'm down to 5. This is FWK 25-04, a conditional use permit located at 1429 Granville Drive. The property owner is Gerald L. Bomer and Judy A. Bomer Family Partnership LP. The applicant is Show Me Fireworks, Martin Fears. The proposed use is temporary fireworks stands June 25th to July 6th of 2025. The zoning district is C2 General Commercial District. The location is 2,550 feet south of Timber Trace Drive along Highway 61, adjacent to the city of Wentzville. This is located in Council District 1. Staff.
It's another application that has had a fireworks stand for multiple years now. Staff's received no complaints, and we recommend approval, subject to the conditions listed in the staff report.
Okay. Are there any questions for staff? Hearing none, we will open the public hearing for FWK 25-05. Anyone wishing to speak regarding this application? Seeing no one, we'll close the public hearing, bring this back to the commission for consideration. Questions, comments? Hearing none, Chair will entertain a motion to approve FWK 25-05. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Shell, I'll give you the motion. Mr. Cornwell, you get the second. Ms. Bamer, how do you vote?
Abstain, it's my parents.
Yep, I knew that. Mr. Baker?
Yes.
Mr. Fromm?
Yes.
Mr. Cornwell?
Yes.
Ms. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Shell?
Yes.
And I vote yes. That's why I called you first. Next is a conditional use permit located at 21 East Highway Inn. It's FWK 25-06. Property owner is the Baker Family Company 2 LLC. The applicant is Merrimack Specialty Company. Proposed use is a temporary fireworks stand June 25th through July 6th of 2025. The zoning is C2 General Commercial District. The location is 21 East Highway Inn on the northeast corner of the intersection of Highway Inn and Highway Z near the city of Wentzville. This is located in Council District 2. Staff.
This is another application. It's multiple times having a fireworks stand here. It's directly east of the Fast Lane gas station at the intersection of Highway N and Highway Z. We've received no complaints over the years, and staff recommends approval subject to the conditions listed in the staff report.
Okay. Any questions for staff? Hearing none, we'll open the public hearing for FWK 25-06. Anyone wishing? Oh, I'm sorry. Ask the applicant to come forward. Marty, I forgot to see you over there. Please state your name and address for the record.
Tom Dixon, P.O. Box 305, Arnold, Missouri,
Okay, I
63010.
gotta swear you in here. I'm getting too quick. Do you solemnly swear or affirmatively tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth in these proceedings or the pains and penalties of perjury?
I do.
Now state your name and address for the record.
Tom Dixon, P.O. Box 305, Arnold, Missouri, 63010.
Okay. Any questions for the applicant? Do you have anything? Anything
No,
new at
sir.
this location?
No,
Okay, thank you, sir.
thank you.
Now we'll open the public hearing for FWK 25-06. Seeing no one, we will close the public hearing for FWK 25-06. Bring this back to the commission for consideration. Any questions, comments? Chair will entertain a motion to approve FWK 25-06.
So moved.
Mr. Cornwell made the motion.
Second.
Second, Mr. Shell. Ms. Kirchner, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Fromm?
Yes.
Ms. Bamer?
Yes.
Mr. Baker?
Yes.
Mr. Cornwell?
Yes.
Mr. Shell?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Finally. Next is conditional use permit, FWK 25-07, located at 2301 Upper Bottom Road. Property owner is Taco Upper Bottom Road LLP. The applicant is Merrimack Specialty Company. Proposed use is a temporary fireworks stand from June 25th through July 6th of 2025. The zoning district is C2 General Commercial District. The location is 2301 Upper Bottom Road at the northwest corner of Upper Bottom Road and Missouri Route 364. This is located in Council District 7. Staff.
This location has been approved for a fireworks stand for several years now also. Located directly south of Highway 364 off the Arena Parkway off-ramp. Over the years, staff has received no complaints. We recommend approval subject to the conditions listed in the staff report.
Any questions for staff? Hearing none, we'll ask the applicant to come forward. You solemnly swear or affirm that you'll tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in these proceedings or the pains and penalties of perjury.
I do.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Tom Dixon, P.O. Box 305, Arnold, Missouri, 63010.
Okay. Anything new, different at this location?
No, sir.
Any questions for the applicant? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll now open the public hearing for FWK 25-07. Seeing no one, we'll close the public hearing. Bring this back to the commission for consideration. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, the chair will entertain a motion to approve FWK 25-07. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Fromm gives the motion.
Second.
Mr. Bamer, I'll give you the second. Mr. Cornwell?
Yes.
Mr. Fromm?
Yes.
Mr. Baker?
Yes.
Ms. Bamer?
Yes.
Ms. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Shell?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay. We're done with fireworks.
So you say.
Now we can slow down a little bit. Next item on our agenda is a zoning map amendment request located at 870 East Highway Inn. The application number is RZ 25-02. The property owner is Roger O. Steinman and Teresa L. Steinman. Applicant is McBride Land Growth LLC. The current zoning is A Agricultural District. Proposed zoning is R3A. medium-density residential district. The 2030 master plan recommends low-density residential 1 to 4 dwellings per acre. The rezoning area consists of 18.78 acres. The location is 870 East Highway N, located 800 feet south of Highway N and 800 feet west of Autumn Hollow Drive, near the cities of O'Fallon, Wentzville, and Lake St. Louis. This is located in Council District 2. Staff.
This parcel is currently zoned agricultural and has been since zoning has been established in the county in 1959. The property, in some ways, is a flag lot shape. It has access via a narrow private lane to Highway N. Additionally, the tract of land is bordered by the Autumn Hollow development to the east, which was approved and is under development currently by the Commission and Council. There are 2 single-family residences directly north of this parcel, making the parcel itself somewhat hidden from Highway N. In terms of future land use, the future land use designation for this parcel is low-density residential, which envisions 1 to 4 units per acre. Looking more broadly at the master plan, however, we identify an urban service area, which helps distinguish suburban versus rural development. The urban service area was established in 2008 and was designed in part by areas that would eventually have access to gravity-fed sewers. The urban service area boundary has not changed since 2008, and this entire parcel is within that boundary. More specifically, Duckett Creek is constructing a new sanitary sewer facility that's less than a mile south of the property to serve the Upper Darden Creek subwatershed. The initial capacity of the treatment plant will be 10,000 homes, and it will be expanded to, at full capacity, serve 30,000 total homes. This development will be served obviously by Duckett Creek for sewer and Public Water Supply District Number 2 for water. As mentioned earlier, the future land use designation for this parcel is low-density residential. However, it is important to note that staff uses the master plan as not to dictate our decisions, but to inform them. Because of this, on page 8.4 of the master plan, it states, the future land use plan does not predetermine specific land uses or densities for given parcels of land. Instead, it illustrates general categories with preferred character types and policies and criteria to describe the interest in creating a mix of uses and compatible densities within new neighborhoods. This allows more creative and efficient use of land according to the plan's goals and strategies. The proposed development is an 87 single-family residences consistent with the approved developments along the Highway N corridor, including Autumn Hollow, the Harvest at Hopewell, and the villages at Post Farms. Moreover, the proposed density for this development is 4.63 units per acre, which is much lower than the neighboring properties. I put together this sketch or visualization, if we can pull it up on the projector, that kind of gives you an idea of the change or the differences in density. I don't know if they can hear me back there. Anyway, the commissioners have it up there. So the parcel directly south is going to be a townhome. Oh, there it is. A townhome development right here, which is 19.52 acres, and it has 130 units, which comes out to 6.60 units per acre. To the northeast here is the Autumn Hollow apartment buildings, which is on a parcel of size of 9 acres with 180 units for a total density of 20 units per acre. Right here is based on the preliminary plat. You can see obviously how densely this parcel is, and then having 180 units here, this would be some kind of buffer or transition in density as you go out to the more lower density areas and rural areas. Finally, as it relates to transportation, the access currently is right along here. It's like I said, it's a narrow drive, but that won't be used. The primary and only form of access that staff is aware of is going to come from Autumn Hollow Drive, right here by the townhomes.
In that map, where's N?
N would be right here.
Okay.
The form of access would come here. The applicant is currently working with Autumn Hollow to formalize an agreement. But given all these factors in this presentation and in the staff report, staff recommends approval of this rezoning application.
Any questions for staff? Hearing none, we'll ask the applicant to come forward. Do you swear or affirm that you'll tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in these proceedings or in the pains and penalties of perjury?
I do.
Please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Mike Faulkner. I'm Vice President of Sterling Engineering with offices at 5055 New Baumgartner in St. Louis, 63129. Staff has done such a great job. He stole pretty much most of my presentation, but want to try and touch on a few of the things if I could. First thing, I don't know if everybody's familiar with McBride, so I wanted to just kind of go through. McBride is one of the largest home builders in the state of Missouri, creating neighborhoods for over 75 years. Stability is their strength, creating building in approximately 40 neighborhoods within the St. Louis area, and has a substantial amount of experience with developing homes within the St. Charles community. Does seem to want to move for me. And a lot of this is what staff has already went over. It's 18.78 acres. We're surrounded by residential, and I'll run over to and our density is very low considered. I wanted to go to the zoning map so you can really see this the red area, as you can see, is the subject site. This long skinny is the access that we have onto Highway N. And then off to the right is the Autumn Hollow. You can see in that kind of a burnt color is the R3B, which is the townhomes and the attached home with Lombardo, and then to the south is a single family. We believe this is a really good transitional site here from the high density that's in the Autumn Hollow subdivision to the west. And as staff has pointed out, the master plan says that this is a good use for this development, for this site. Again, here's a copy of the site plan, and off to the right you can see we've done just the same thing that staff has proposed and showed. Is up to the top you can see is the multifamily. Just down just a little bit is the single or is the attached. I don't know if I can get that to point out, but you can see is the attached rental homes. And then just to the south of that is the single family development. So we feel this is a good transition from the high density of Autumn Hollow to the west. Our access will be via the main access for the Autumn Hollow, and construction traffic will be, if I could go, if you remember that one main drive that went straight to the top, that's where we'll have all our construction traffic, is that main road or that access point that comes into the site will be our main construction. So there won't be any construction traffic on any of the other roads. We'll bring all construction traffic in through that narrow site. Also to the west, you can see we have a stub street. We stubbed a street to the west. That's to the north on the larger drawing, and that's Gallup Lane. It will not connect to Gallup Lane. It will actually stop short of there, and we'll put up barricades, and there'll be a T turnaround there, so as to none of the residents to kind of cut their fears that there will not be any direct access to this subdivision to Gallup Lane. Again, 87 single-family homes, detached, single-family. And the homes that McBride is proposing in this development is currently being built in the Wildflower subdivision in Wentzville. And those homes will range from 12 1,200 square foot to right under 2,000 square foot. And there'll be two and three car garage. We'll have ranch, story and a half and 2-story. The lots themselves will be 40-foot wide. Excuse me. And the sale price will be in the low 300,000s, and will go up from $350,000 to $400,000.
Questions for the applicant? Now, where the Autumn Hollow Apartments,
Autumn Hollow Apartments,
is that located in,
St. Charles County.
Autumn Hollow's located in St. Charles County. It was approved in 2021.
it was?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't remember that. It's been a while. That'd be the first apartments in the county.
And
What town?
these,
Well, they
These-
have apartments and townhomes.
Yeah.
these renderings will give you what those units, what our proposed units will look like. And then McBride also has one of the world renowned design center that's located in Chesterfield, where the homeowners can actually go to this design center and be able to pick out all of their products that they want, the upgrades and everything, instead of actually going in a basement of a display home. So they can actually go there. There's a design team that's located at that facility there that can help the resident as far as color combinations and different styles, options that are available. And with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Looking at the map that we have, there's a large pond. Where is that in relation to this?
That large pond, I don't know if I can get mine to come up. I don't know, can staff bring your drawing back up?
Yeah, we could pull ours back up. I think on the map, it looks like it's further in. I don't know if the plan is to fill in that
That-
pond and then
correct.
create that retention area.
That pond will be filled in,
Okay.
but we will, working with staff, will be providing a stormwater management plan. You can see the blue area down towards the left there. That it will be our stormwater detention base. It will meet this county's specifications.
Will these townhomes, will they be flat or will they have basements?
These are not going to be townhomes. These are going to be single-family detached homes.
The Autumn Hollow townhomes.
Those are slabs as far as I'm
Slabs.
concerned, or that I'm aware of.
Autumn Hollow is going through the apartments have been approved, they're under construction, and then the townhomes and the rest of the subdivision is going through the final plating process.
I don't remember that far back. Any questions for the applicant?
During COVID.
Hmm?
During COVID.
Oh, it was, yeah.
Yeah, part of it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We will now open the public hearing for RZ 25-02, which is a zoning map amendment request located at 870 East Highway N. Anyone wishing to speak? You solemnly swear or affirm that you will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in these proceedings or the pains and penalties of perjury.
Yes, I do.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. My name is Arnie C. A.C. Dinoff, County Public Advocate, mailing address P.O. Box 1535 in O'Fallon. We're talking about 180 apartments. We're talking about 5 buildings. If any of you have looked at social media or watched any of the news media reports, residents of St. Charles County are sick and tired of apartment buildings.
Hey, Arnie, we're not talking about apartments on this.
That's been approved.
What are you talking about? The townhomes?
No, either. It's
Talking
the,
about this
Single-family
right here.
homes.
it's the single-family homes.
Okay.
The rest
Single
has already been
family.
approved and done.
Gotcha.
You
So
must
you
have been
don't
reading
re-
something back there in the back.
You don't remember either.
I'm trying to just go back and I'm looking at the maps. If I'm mistaken, I would have to look at the density, but of course, density is a big issue. Smart growth is what this commission needs to be cognizant of. Smart growth requirements and smart growth decisions. The next issue that I was going to bring up, since we're not talking about apartments, but single family, is the density issue. Hopefully, the density issue is less than O'Fallon, which is 6 units or 6 dwellings per acre.
This says 4.63 units per acre.
Cool. Thank you for that. Moving on to Missouri Highway N, we keep putting 50 to 60 new residents on this corridor each and every week. New residents who move into this corridor. Along Hopewell Road and Missouri Highway N are over 4,200 single-family dwellings that are slated and been approved by the city of O'Fallon, by the city of Wentzville, and by the county of St. Charles. Missouri Highway N cannot handle much more traffic of a 2-lane state highway. It needs to be upgraded for safety improvements into a 5-lane highway. Duckett Creek Sanitary Plant is in phase 1, and they've constructed this plant to add on an additional 7 phases. So it's going to be a opening up the doors and a great enhancement of development in southwest St. Charles County. In terms of what I heard during the applicant testifying on the record of the access of the property, I'm not sure that that's going to meet the requirements of the fire protection district in terms of ample access for fire trucks and emergency first responders. It kind of sounds kind of sketchy, and I think those details need to be worked out a lot better. Where are the partners in this case? The Wentzville School District has space concerns. Last week, the Wentzville School District, a $170 million bond issue failed, was turned down by voters. Harvest and Hopewell, the Hopewell homes, will require an additional elementary school just alone in terms of the development. So my question is, with this new development, it's going to bring more children, and is the space needs going to be met with the Wentzville R4 school district. What about a letter from the Wentzville Fire Protection District? And it's on the border of the new Melly Fire Protection District. Some of those borders are sketchy exactly where the lines are drawn with those 2 fire protection districts. But I think that we need to make sure that there's ample access for fire protection. Public Water District number 2, we don't see a letter from them. I know there's a main line that goes along Missouri Highway N, but we don't see a letter from that partner either. And we don't see a partner from Spire. We don't see an electric grid. I'm not sure if it's the co-op or the Ameren UE. So the densities below of what O'Fallon has, I guess it is a good transition, but there's some things that need to be worked out with this property in terms of the traffic safety of Missouri Highway N and the access road to the development. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Anyone else wishing to speak regarding RZ 25-02? Anyone? If not, we'll close the public hearing, ask the applicant to come back. Anyone have any questions for the applicant?
I don't know that we got, or that I understand a clear feeling on what are you doing with that lake or pond that is right in the middle of all this?
That's going to be removed.
Okay.
Also point out some of the comments by Arnie was as far as Highway N, St. Charles County and Highway N, we've been in multiple conversations with them. They are in the process of developing the plans that will be for Highway N. As far as sewers, we've met with Duckett Creek Sewer District. They have unbelievable amount of capacity. In fact, they are encouraging more development because they need more flow to keep the plant moving. We've met with Public Water District number 2. Water is available. They have told us that they have plenty of water available to handle this subdivision. We also met with the fire district, and the fire district was happy with what we proposed as far as the access to this development.
Who serves the power? Is this Quiver River or Ameren?
I believe it's Quiver River. But all the other utilities have no problems with servicing.
Okay. Any other questions for the applicant? Hearing none? Thank you,
Thank you.
sir. We'll bring RZ 25-02 back to the commission. Is there any questions from staff, comments?
Yeah, I have a question. So the master plan is 1 to 4 dwellings per acre, and this is 1 to 4, and this is 4.63. So this really is almost the master plan, but not quite, right?
Correct.
Am I reading that right?
Yeah, and like that section I read, it's not designed to be so literal. Because
Sure, yeah.
we go down to the parcel level.
Yeah.
But yeah, you would be correct. It's almost step
Okay.
4.
Any other questions for staff? Okay. Chair will entertain a motion to approve RZ 25-02. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Bamer. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Crowell made the second. Mr. Fromm, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Baker?
No.
Ms. Bamer?
Yes.
Mr. Shell?
No.
Ms. Kirchner?
No.
Mr. Cornwell?
Yes.
I vote yes. Passes 4-3.
This one I was okay with.
Next thing on the agenda is preliminary plat for Oakshire subdivision located at 870 East Highway Inn. The application number is PRE 25-02. The property owner, Roger O. Steinman and Teresa L. Steinman. The surveyor is the Sterling Company Engineers and Surveyors. Current zoning is A Agricultural District. The proposed zoning, R3A Medium Density Residential District. Proposed lots are 87, 4.63 dwellings per acre gross. The parcel area is 18.78 acres. The location is 870 East Highway Inn, located 800 feet south of Highway Inn and 800 feet west of Auburn Hollow Drive, near the cities of O'Fallon, Winsfield, and Lake St. Louis. This is located in Council District 2. Staff.
I'll try to keep this brief since we've covered a lot of this stuff already. The two main points I do want to highlight are agency comments on the proposal and the technical requirements of the preliminary plat. In terms of agency comments, staff received feedback from 2 agencies regarding this proposal. The first one was from the St. Charles County Soil and Water Conservation District, which provided recommendations to the developer on minimizing the impact on soil and water quality in the area. The second group of comments staff received was from the Winsfield School District. The response addressed potential school boundary shifts as development continues, outlined state transportation requirements for students, and noted the minimum cul-de-sac size required for school buses to access a neighborhood. As far as the technical requirements go for the plat, the main outstanding item is access. Currently is a verbal agreement to access Oakshire from Autumn Hollow Drive. However, written confirmation would still be needed, and the preliminary plat cannot be signed without that documentation. Additionally, the preliminary plat is contingent on the county council approving the rezoning application. Given this, assuming that the zoning approval is granted and the written access documentation is submitted, the preliminary plat meets the technical requirements of Chapter 410.
Any questions for staff regarding the preliminary plat?
Yeah, can you restate the access problem? What's going on?
So they're accessing they're showing access off Autumn Hollow Drive.
Right.
We just don't have written documentation that they can access from there yet.
What do you mean, like access? Like they can't get on the road or what?
Like
Well,
Who
they
do
have to call,
approve?
Easement?
there's a small sliver of common ground that they have to
Oh.
cross
Here.
from the developer.
They don't own that. It's coming down.
So the street doesn't stub to that property line. There's that little,
So will they give them an
I missed
easement?
that
Are they
out there.
getting an easement? Permanent easement?
I'm not sure, but there's some kind of documentation and
Okay.
agreement they can come to.
All right.
Counselor, I have a question. Should we require something more than a written confirmation versus something filed of record?
this something we would, you mean, I'm gonna ask staff over here, something we would make sure approved during the final planning approval process to make sure they have that, whatever easement or whatever they have.
I can't sign a preliminary plat until
Yeah.
we have written confirmation
From them.
from the neighboring property owners.
Okay, so it'd be contingent, their approval will be contingent both on the rezoning and on.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you could vote on it, we would just make sure we have proper documentation and it'd be contingent upon
Yeah.
getting that final vote and then also the rezoning, obviously. 'Cause it's
Yeah.
kind of-
Any other questions for staff? Hearing none, I ask the applicant to come forward. So different applications, I'd swear you back in again. You solemnly swear or affirm that you will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in these proceedings under the pains and penalties of perjury.
I do.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Mike Faulkner, I'm Vice President of Sterling Engineering with offices at 5055 New Bob Gardner, St. Louis, 63129.
Go ahead,
I think
sir.
the first thing I'd like to address is that issue with the right-of-way. And right now, that strip of common ground, the owner of that common ground is in the process of, his engineer is putting together a document which will be dedicating that property for our roadway to St. Charles County. So there will be a recorded dedication plat that will be submitted to St. Charles County for our approval. So first thing is just to mention that.
So then the county would have to accept it as,
Correct.
to be a dedicated street.
Yes. Yeah, because all our streets are going to be public streets. So this will be the connection to the Autumn Hollow subdivision's main parkway.
Okay. The cul-de-sac, is it being built to
The cul-de-sac will
standards?
be built to, to meet Winsville and the fire district's specifications.
Any other questions for the applicant? Okay, thanks, sir.
Thank you.
We'll now open the public hearing for PRE 25-02, which is a preliminary plat for Oakshire subdivision located at 870 East Highway N. You solemnly swear or affirm that you'll tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in these proceedings or the pains and penalties of perjury.
Yes, I do.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. My name is Arnie C., A.C. Dinoff, County Public Advocate. Mailing address, P.O. Box 1535 in O'Fallon. Just a couple points that I'd like to go over the preliminary plat. I don't want to rehash what I talked about in the previous public hearing. But I think when it comes down to these issues, rather than taking people's words, I've seen that too many times. Somebody say, oh, it's going to be worked out, or there's going to be an agreement. Well, not always. Sometimes it falls through. So in this case, I feel that the applicant is putting the cart before the horse. And I'd like to see some type of condition put on by the planning and zoning commissioners that before any building permits can be issued, that a recorded agreement deed of the proper access be recorded with the St. Charles County Recorder of Deeds. I think that just ensures that the citizens are protected and that the county's protected and that everything's on the up and up. Sometimes people forget about things, let things slide, and it doesn't go through. So I think a recorded deed of the agreement is necessary before the final approval of this project.
So, Arnie,
I think Robert said it.
Yeah, who asked that question?
I'm sorry,
I said, who asked that question?
who asked the question?
Yeah,
Somebody brought it up.
I just asked the question.
Yeah.
And who has to sign the preliminary plat? Me.
And Robert said it
there
would
you
be a
go.
part of anything, that before anything was signed, it had to be a part of it.
But what's wrong with having it recorded with your recorder of deeds?
Well, it will be.
Yeah, it'd be part of, it has to be recorded before the final plat can be signed off on.
Okay, cool,
Yeah.
cool. Don't forget, right?
Go on, I'm ahead of you.
The next thing I'd like to talk about is tree preservation. We want to ensure that some of the trees are going to be preserved in compliance with our county codified code requirements.
It's
If
a
they're
field,
cutting,
I think.
what?
I think it's a field. Is it just a field?
But if they're cutting down trees, they're going to have to plant trees.
I think there might be one tree.
Yeah, I think it's just a
It's just a field.
field.
So they're going to plant enough trees to meet our codified code
Yeah, we have
requirement?
to.
Is that,
The tree preservation is for preserving trees. There's no stipulation to add trees. The applicant's welcome to add as many trees as they want.
Yeah.
okay. The next thing is the school bus turnaround and the letter from the Wentzville School District. I heard the applicant say that he's meeting those requirements. We just want to ensure that there's no problems that are afforded towards the Wentzville School District as they provide a service. Student space, like I brought it up in the last public hearing, that's a number one concern. I think that needs to be addressed. This area definitely is going to need 2 elementary schools from the amount of homes that are being slated by the 3 cities and the unincorporated portion of the county. Might even be a 3rd elementary school before it's all done and said with. But student space is a primary concern. As I said, $170 million bond issue failed last Tuesday. That was going to build new elementary schools, build another middle school and another high school. And I think we need to be really sure that the Wentzville School District can absorb these new students and educate these new students, have the desk space to properly educate them. And those are my comments, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak regarding PRE 25-02, which is a preliminary plat for a proposed Oakshire subdivision? Seeing no one, we'll close the public hearing. Any questions for the applicant? And for these people that are attending, these are 2 separate things. So we have to vote on the rezoning, which we did, and then this is a preliminary plat that this goes to the county council. If the council approves of rezoning, then then they vote on the preliminary plat. The council could turn down the rezoning, which then makes the preliminary plat basically just a preliminary plat. It's no validity to that. So that's how this works. Yeah. So at this time, the chair will entertain a motion to approve PRE 25-02, which is preliminary plat for Oakshire subdivision. Is there a motion? Ms. Baker made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Cornwell. Okay. Mr. Fromm, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ms. Kirchner?
No.
Mr. Shell?
No.
Mr. Baker?
No.
Ms. Bamer?
Yes.
Mr. Cornwell?
Yes.
Where am I at? We're down to me, and I vote yes. Okay, so that passes 4-3. Okay, now, where am I at?
2503.
2503. Okay. Next on our agenda is a preliminary plat for Westward Manor Plat 2 re-subdivision of lots 69 through 75 at Noel Court. This is application PRE 25-03. The property owners are William J. and Michelle L. Clark. Surveyor is CQ Surveying. The current zoning is R1B, single-family residential. The proposed lots are 2. The parcel area is 2.99 acres. The location is 75 Noel Court, approximately 800 feet east of Motherhead Road, directly north of Highway 364 near the city of Cottleville. This is located in Council District 3. Staff.
So the applicant is requesting to subdivide a 2.99 acre parcel at 75 Knoll Court from 1 lot into 2 lots. A dwelling currently exists on the western portion of the property. This is lot 69, which was originally platted in 1978 as a part of the Westward Manor Plat 2 subdivision, which was zoned R1B, single-family residential at the time. However, the construction of Missouri Highway 364 divided Westward Manor Plat 2, leaving only 2 homes north of the highway. MoDOT then constructed Knoll Court to provide access to these 2 homes, which are 75 Knoll Court, the subject property, and 85 Knoll Court. The proposed subdivision would create 2 lots, lot 1 being 1.49 acres, lot 2 being 1.5 acres. The R1B zoning district requires a minimum lot size of 20,000 square feet, and both lots exceed this requirement. Sanitary sewer access is feasible as existing sewer manholes are located at both the front and rear of the property. The property is served by right-of-way from State Highway 364 via Knoll Court. This newly created lot would access off Knoll Court. The one caveat to this preliminary plat, though, is that there's a water course that runs through the property, which triggers section 410-110C-2B of the county code. This section requires that a water course left in their natural state must be placed within common ground and managed by a homeowners association. Given that the subdivision would only be 2 parcels, forming an HOA is possible, but it's also impractical. As an alternative, the water course could be protected by an easement held by St. Charles County. The applicant may seek a variance from the Planning and Zoning Commission and the County Council to allow for an easement instead of common ground. Staff would support this variance request. Therefore, the proposed plat meets the technical requirements of Chapter 410, except the requirement that natural water courses must be within common ground. Approval with variances would require, again, approval from the commission and the council.
Okay, any questions for staff? Hearing none, I ask the applicant to come forward. You solemnly swear or affirm that you'll tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in these proceedings from the pains and penalties of perjury.
I do.
Please state your names and address for the record.
William Jacob Clark, 75 Knoll Court.
Michelle L. Clark, 75 Mill Court, St. Charles, Missouri, 63304.
Okay. Go ahead.
So the neighbor approached us, well, her father approached us and would like to build a house next to his daughter to live out the rest of his life. We've got more than enough land, so we agreed to sell him half the lot. We're looking to divide it in half. We did talk to them about the water course, and we know that that would need a variance, which they said they would support the approval of. There's no trees that are going to be cut down to build the house, and it's not going to add substantial loads to the school, so I think we should be good on all counts.
It does meet the minimum requirements for setbacks and lot widths as well.
Any questions for the applicants? Since the original application was for the rezoning, not the rezoning, but the creating these 2 lots, do we have to go through a formal process for the variance, or just add that to the motion?
It's gonna have to go to the county council regardless.
So do we make the variance part of our motion?
You would make, I'm not speaking up.
No, it's fine, no.
Typically what happens, you make a recommendation to the county council and explicitly refer to the variance request as part of that motion.
I say motion for the approval with variance. I think would be the way to do that, and then it would go to the council.
Okay. Any questions for the applicants? Thank you. We'll now open the public hearing for PRE 25-03. You solemnly swear or affirm that you'll tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in these proceedings from the pains and penalties of perjury.
Yes, I do.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. My name is Arnie C. A.C. Dienoff, County Public Advocate, mailing address P.O. Box 1535 in O'Fallon. I'm in support of this application. It makes sense. It's common sense. There's ample amount of room on this acreage to divide this plat into 2 different parcels. I don't have any problems with that. The easement access, I don't have a problem with that, granting that variance, but I do have a problem with the cost and the maintenance. So I don't think it's fair for taxpayers and for the county to absorb that maintenance cost. I would like to see a condition placed on the easement of the natural water course that the cost of maintenance, any cleanouts, any type of labor or things that need to be done, that it's done at the 2 parcels' expenses of the of the newly created parcels that are being created. I think that expense needs to be borne by each owner, 50%. Those are my comments, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak regarding application PRE 25-03? Anyone? Seeing no one, we will close public hearing and bring the application back to the commission. Any additional questions for the applicant? Jared, would you, if the variance is approved, then explain what happens?
It's my understanding, and Robert can correct me if I'm wrong, the easement allows St. Charles County access to inspect the natural water course, but the property owners are responsible for maintaining the vegetative buffers of that natural water course.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, I'm just saying, no clear zone is what I would call it. You know, it's the easement stipulates that you can't cut trees without approval from St. Charles County.
And it allows someone from the county to come and do an inspection if need be.
Yeah.
Can do a conservation, more of that.
Any other questions? Chair will entertain a motion to approve application PRE 25-03, which would include the variance set forth by staff in the staff report. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Skip, motion, Mr. Cornwell. Mr. Cornwell gets the second. Mr. Fromm?
Yes.
Ms. Bamer?
Yes.
Mr. Shell?
Yes.
Ms. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Cornwell?
Yes.
Mr. Baker?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay. Now get back to the agenda.
Yeah, just want to remind this will be held at the May 12th, I believe that was.
Yeah, May 12th. Monday,
Council
May 12th.
meeting as well will be on there, so.
Yeah, everything that we've approved past the fireworks will be on the May 12th agenda for the county council. Next up is conditional use permit amendment at 1991 Highway C. The application is CUP 25-01, amending CUP 18148. The property owner is JOK's LLC. The applicant, JOK LLC, John Oliver Joseph Carr. Current zoning is A agricultural district with FW with floodway overlay district. The conditional use request is amend CUP 18148 to expand a campground. The 2030 master plan recommends agricultural and floodplain uses. The CUP area is 17.06 acres. The location is 1991 Highway C, located on the Mississippi River and adjoining two branch marina. This is located in Council District 1. Staff.
This amendment to an existing conditional use would allow the applicant to add an additional 35 camping spots to an already existing 24 camping spots. 30 of the new spots will operate on an annual basis, while the other five new ones will be rented out on a day-to-day basis, bringing the total number of camping spots to 59. Each of the new camping spots will have electric and water service, a separate service to remove solid waste from individual RVs will be used and has been used in the past since this original conditional use permit was approved. To reduce impact on neighboring properties, a type 2 landscape buffer is recommended along the eastern property line of the subject parcel where it adjoins with an existing residence. Since that residence is elevated because of floodplain requirements, we would recommend that trees should be planted as opposed to fencing. A 6-foot fence really wouldn't act as a buffer if the house is elevated. For conditional use amendments, the Planning and Zoning Division evaluates the request for consistency in purpose and content with the nature of the original proposal. The Planning and Zoning Division views this CUP amendment as consistent with the original request that was approved in 2013. The original ordinance from 2013 imposed 17 conditions. Those conditions have been updated to reflect current regulations and ordinances. The Planning and Zoning Division recommends approval with the conditions listed in the staff report.
Any questions for staff?
You have a question. I noticed on number 5, under the recommendations, it said RVs may only be on site for no more than 180 calendar days, but yet they can lease it for a year?
So I think it can be leased for those 180 days out of the year, every year.
Okay.
So not exactly on an annual basis, but it can be leased every year for those
For
180
the
days.
season, whatever.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure we're consistent about what they were trying to do. So, and that's already been in there. That's not something new, but I was just
Yeah,
curious.
that condition was in the original CUP.
Yeah. Okay.
Any other questions for staff? Hearing none, we'll ask the applicant to come forward. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you'll tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in these proceedings or the pains and penalties of perjury?
I do.
Please state your name and address for the record.
John Kajar, mailing address 2021 Highway C, St. Charles, Missouri.
Oh, go ahead, sir.
Basically, this is real consistent with what the staff has already recommended. There hasn't been any violations or complaints in over 10 years, and I just want to extend what I've already been doing down there. It fulfills a need for the community. You know, people have to have something to do. This is something that's local and close by where people can enjoy the river. With a little impact on it, you know, people are just, you know, everything's mobile. They bring their RVs and then they can leave when they want, you know. Nothing's permanent. It's in a floodplain, everything has to move. And I make that very clear to everybody who's down there.
Okay. To answer Mr. Shell's question, I can only rent a spot for 180 days?
Well, it's an annual contract, so you can use those 180 days during the year. I mean,
But I have 180 out of the 365.
basically, because, I mean, you have spring flooding starting around this time, so people are gonna move everything. If, you know, last year, people were out of there for at least 3 or 4 weeks, you know. So it's hard for me to say, hey, which days are gonna be here, you know, but, I mean, people go on vacation, they take their stuff and come back and, you know, take it out of there.
Okay. Any other questions for the applicant? Hearing none, thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Now we'll open the public hearing for CUP 25-01, which is for a conditional use permit amendment. You solemnly swear or affirm that you will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in these proceedings or the pains and penalties of perjury?
Yes, I do.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. My name is Arnie C. A.C. Dienoff, County Public Advocate, mailing address P.O. Box 1535, O'Fallon. I'm in favor of this application. I don't have any problems with the conditions. However, we all know, and the applicant said, it's going to flood every year. I just would like to see one condition added to this, is that if all possibility, that what can be anchored down to the ground so it doesn't flood downriver or cause other problems. I think we need to have a concise regulation that says that everything should be somehow anchored down, such as picnic benches, things that can't be moved, that will remain there on the property, but I think it needs to be anchored. So I would offer that as a recommended condition. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak regarding CUP 25-01? You solemnly swear or affirm that you tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in these proceedings or the pains and penalties of perjury?
I do.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Levi Bauer, 1865 Highway C, St. Charles, Missouri.
Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Levi Bauer. My wife, Amanda, and I live here on a farm bordering the property we're discussing this evening. We have lived there for over 10 years and raising our 4 young sons on the property. Unfortunately, we have witnessed firsthand the ongoing issues with the current temporary campground located adjacent to our property. Despite It's designated for seasonal or short-term use. It is clear, both through our own observation and satellite imagery, which we can provide the board, that individuals live here year-round in direct violation of St. Charles County rules and regulations. Over the years, we have noticed repeat sanitation problems like septic systems not always properly maintained. This creates health and environment risks. We are also aware that the current codes allow for one or two vehicles per camper by the rental lots. This rule is constantly violated. Even this morning when I drove by, several lots had campers, multiple trailers, boats, vehicles, ATVs spread about. Weekends often bring in large groups intending on partying rather than respecting local property lines. We regularly deal with trespassers on ATVs crossing into our land. Highway C and Highway B are experiencing speeding, drag racing, and careless driving, which poses a serious danger, not only to our family, but everyone traveling through the area. We haven't complained or called the police because we don't like to complain, and we figure we are protecting other parts of St. Charles County. And finally, we all know this property sits in a highly flood-prone area. Over the years, we have relocated countless times due to flooding. We worry that for a true emergency, first responders would struggle to access campground if they can access it at all. Our farm is not only our home, it is also our livelihood. I'm deeply concerned that any further expansion of this campground will only intensify these problems. We have talked with multiple neighbors who share the same concerns. As our sons grow up, Amanda and I want to have them enjoy a safe, stable environment free from hazards posed by neglect, sanitation, trespassing, inadequate flood prep. The campground history of year-round occupancy and repeated compliance issues suggests that additional acreage for campers would only lead to further rule violations. Lastly, it is important to note that the landowner, Mr. Gajar, does not live on or near the property, so he does not experience the daily disruptions and risks that come with ignoring the county's regulations. Instead, he appears more interested in collecting rental income than ensuring the campgrounds meet St. Charles County high standards for health, safety, and environmental stewardship. This absentee owner model, combined with a history of non-compliance, does not inspire confidence that the situation will improve with an expansion. For all these reasons, I strongly urge the Commission to deny the proposed expansion and look carefully into the current situation. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thanks, sir.
Is there any way to project this up there so you guys can, I brought pictures of the current campground.
Sure, they can do it back there.
Can I tell them back to turn the,
I got 3 or 4 pictures just so they can see it, so, thank you. Okay. So these are sites you can see with the guy right before me talked about, we have flooding very often, so you can see all the stuff laying around on the campsites. There's just different pictures of multiple vehicles, multiple boats, multiple things. It's more of a storage lot in my mind. People are saving money by not just renting a camping spot, they're getting rental for all their ATVs and trailers and boats and everything else.
turn that.
This way. Oh, sorry. Not like that.
Nope, keep turning.
Turn it.
There you go.
There you go.
You're good, right there.
So you can see what we're dealing with down there. This was taken today here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you'll tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in these proceedings or the pains and penalties of perjury?
Yes.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Kylie Jincola, 1949 Highway C, St. Charles, Missouri 63301.
Go ahead, ma'am.
I have the elevated property directly adjacent to the property in discussion, and I can second Levi's statements as to the campgrounds being occupied all year round, and I've had stray animals on my property. I've had trash on my property, ATVs and side-by-sides driven through my property. I've had to call the police, to have people evacuated because they are cursing at my children and using profanity as recent as March 29th at 11:30 at night. And I don't think that letting him expand is a good idea. It's going to destroy the woods and the habitat for the animals. And I have small grandchildren that are living there, and I don't want this to happen. It's going to disrupt my peace of mind. I bought the property out there because it is away and it's quiet, and this is not going to happen. We have people drag racing out there. I've lost my mailbox 5 times in the past 5 years since I bought the property, and he has no respect for that.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak? Evening. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you'll tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in these proceedings or the pains and penalties of perjury?
I do.
Please state your name and address for the record.
My name is David Sliney. My work address is 501 North Broadway in St. Louis, 63102.
Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. So, good evening, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. I'd like to start by thanking you and really appreciate the time that you devote to this council and the Planning and Zoning Board. As I said, my name is David Sliney. I'm the past president of an organization called Darden Realty, which owns and takes care of 1,500 acres that are immediately across the adjacent property that we're talking about tonight. Our property supports an active agriculture program. We farm it. We manage wildlife habitat on the property, and we have low-impact recreation on the property for the fellow owners who I represent tonight. About 400 of our acres are protected by a wetlands conservation easement. It's one of the largest in St. Charles County. And we did this to preserve the vital bottom land and the habitat near the Mississippi River, I think you're familiar with. And so the proposed 17-acre campground would sit only a short distance from this conserved wetlands area. This plan calls for a lot of trailers, as Mr. Bauer just showed, and this is really concerning to us. Wetland easements like ours require protective buffers so that runoff and septic discharge and heavy traffic don't impair water function or introduce invasive species. Even modest contamination can disrupt waterfowl breeding cycles and harm already stressed freshwater systems. As we all know, this site sits in a FEMA flood zone and floodplain. It regularly experiences flooding. We've seen this over the 50 years I've watched it. We track river levels really closely as an organization, for our land management plans. When the water's up, standard emergency vehicles cannot reach these low areas. We know that. Floodwaters carry debris, propane tanks, trash, untreated wastewater onto our neighboring farms, threatening crops, livestock, and even wildlife. So we think expanding a campground in an area that is difficult, sometimes impossible, to evacuate puts both campers and neighbors at needless risk. I mentioned our easement, which is recorded with the county here, is overseen by the Missouri Department of Conservation. These protected land parcels often prohibit activities that would, quote, diminish or impair water and land function. So increasing the size of a commercial campground would do just that. And allowing the expansion would undercut, we think, the spirit of future easements and set a precedent that could weaken conservation protections countywide. The St. Charles Comprehensive Plan prioritizes safeguarding prime farmland and sensitive floodplain ecosystems. So we believe approving this application would move decisively in the opposite direction. Lastly, we have serious concerns about the imperfect compliance that you've heard about this evening with the owner's current use permit. Frequent on-site observations confirm more than partial residency, poor maintenance, and general site neglect. Granting more acreage would reward non-compliance and signal that rental income outweighs county health, safety, and environmental standards. In closing, I'd like to say that we support responsible economic development when it aligns with the county's conservation and floodplain priorities. Given the compliance failures, flood risks, wildlife impacts, and incompatibility with surrounding agricultural and protected lands, we respectfully urge the Commission to deny this expansion request. I thank you very much for your consideration this evening.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wishing to speak? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you'll tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in these proceedings under the pains and penalties of perjury?
I do.
Please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Charlene Schulte, and my address is 1157 Hackman Road in St. Paul, Missouri. I'm the owner, along with my sister Debbie Bauer, and we own Westhoff Landing LLC, the neighboring property to the east of said property. We're opposed to the request for expanding their current campground. There has already been issues with trespassing, noise, other illegal activity. With the addition of many more lots for campers will cause too much traffic in the contained area. We do pride ourselves on keeping our property very groomed and also following all county guidelines and doing what has been requested of us. Our family has been property owners for almost 200 years and want to continue to keep all under manageable conditions. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Anyone else wishing to speak? Marty's been up here, hasn't he?
I spoke, but I'd like to change mine. I already spoke. I'm not going to testify again, but I need to go on the record and change my for support to opposition after hearing the testimony of the people and the other landowners. It's quite clear from the testimony and the photos that we've got an issue here. I think that the county needs to get involved, and I think you need to table this issue until some of the issues are resolved. So I am not in support of this application. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Anyone else wishing to speak? Hearing no one, we'll close the public hearing and ask the applicant to come back.
What's that? And a staff that's connected to it, but it probably can't go with them.
Okay, you're sworn in, so you're...
Okay, well, I guess the first thing I would like to say is that the property is almost isolated to itself because, of course, all along Highway C, it's a state highway. And then on one boundary of the property, it's a railroad track. And that separates us from the Darting area. So that's a pretty hard boundary, a railroad track. And then on another side of the property is a state highway. It's also a pretty major barrier. And then also you have to consider that all around the property, I mean, there are these duck clubs, and what they're farming the ground to flood it, which kills the crop. And, basically only to sit there for a couple of months out of the year to kill the ducks. So I'm not sure, what we're talking about as far as their impact on the community or the environment. But if you go down there in the fall, they mow down 50% of the crop and they flood the rest, all over Highway C and B. As far as the pictures go, tables and chairs are things that are going to come with camping. There is an established campground, I guess, to the east of the property. If you drive down Highway C, you're looking at the river. My property is to the left, and to the right, that property has been campers and clubhouses. My grandparents had a clubhouse down there. And that's, so that's all this property has ever really been used for. I think the elevated house used to be owned by the Westhoffs, and then it changed hands a few times in the last couple of years. But it had been after this use had been established. So that was well on the record before anybody had purchased the property. And if there's complaints or these violations they're talking about, nobody has said anything until tonight. Nobody has called the county to say anything. And there's, any kind of disturbance, I'm pretty close with the people that I rent to. I know them personally. And I don't believe any of those type of things are happening. The one picture, I think the lady's she's either on vacation or taking her spot out of there. There's no regulation for them not to be able to leave, picnic tables and a few things on their lot. And on the original site layout, it's laid out with two parking spots on each site. So that's part of the approved use. And the contract allows them, they can have a jet ski or I don't allow them to have any permanent car parking down there. I don't want anybody to leave any vehicles down there when they're not using their space.
Do they?
But they're allowed to have a boat. I mean, it's a marina.
Do they,
Yeah.
do you have clear boundaries where people can see where your property ends, where other property is? You know, everybody came up and talked about ATVs going on their property and people going on their property. So do you have clear boundaries marked?
Well, there are extremely clear boundaries. Their one elevated house, which used to have been Larry Overcrone's, and he was the owner when I first got approved. So there was a heavy shrub line put around the property, so that defines their property. They own 3 acres in the middle of, right off Highway C, and right off the highway, there's I don't know if you guys have the site plan you can put up there, but there's a weird shaped lot. So that's the only property owner where people wouldn't have to cross the railroad tracks or cross Highway C to go onto. The other property owner, Levi, on the other side of Two Branch Marina, there's a property, his property happens to be on the corner where the Two Branch properties intersected. So it's not even an adjacent property to this, because this is a separate property owned differently from Two Branch Marina. But so he would have to go across Two Branches Marina's property, which there's an easement through the road, which everybody can do, go around the marina over to his house, which he, doesn't matter, but I mean, he drives an ATV from the Duck Club, where I believe he lives over on the other side of the railroad tracks, over to his other property. And yeah, his family's down there a lot, him and his sons, but they're always on their ATV on my property. So I don't quite understand that, and I've never had a problem with them, being down there on it, but I don't see how that could be a factor, I mean.
So what are the visible boundaries that people can see? What kind of markings can they see that they should not cross this, hey, this is the property you're allowed to be on, you can't go anywhere else?
There's purple paint on the trees that outline it for that one property. There's only one property, which is the elevated property, which is the lady who spoke.
Josh, can you pull up the aerial map that's part of the packet?
So you had said that when people
there you go.
leave, that they leave tables and stuff on site, that's normal? I mean, that's kind of surprising to me that occurs. I mean, this is a
What would you like me
floodplain.
to-
Huh?
Well, if someone wants to take their RV, you expect them to take everything they brought down there?
Yeah, if their 180 days are done, yeah, I do expect them to take everything. I mean,
Well, I think that's pretty, I mean, what if they're gonna
So
come back,
that-
what if
so-
they're gonna come back in a week?
so this sounds like it sounds to me this is a permanent place that these
Like a
people are
parking,
staying.
like a trailer park
Yeah.
almost.
But it's not a trailer park. I mean, this is a recreational
But it
place.
doesn't look like it's really very well maintained. I mean,
I mean,
there
it is-
seems to be trash and debris all over. I mean, from the photos that this gentleman has shown, it just.
Well, I mean,
doesn't
if you
look
took a
like it's
picture of somebody's close-up of their garage, and then you said, this is so unorganized, I mean, if that's an overhead view of the property, I think that looks pretty well maintained. How could you argue that isn't?
You can't really see it.
Well, I mean, if you.
Hold up.
And you could, if you also.
Quiet.
You're not,
Go ahead.
you go ahead.
You go ahead.
How much more can you ask? Look, that's all mowed. There's no derelict cars down there. There's no derelict things in that
Well,
picture.
this is winter time, so it wouldn't, I mean, there's no leaves on the trees really.
Well,
and-
when people are gonna use the place, they're gonna have their stuff out. I mean, who doesn't go, we're talking about camping, people are gonna have their stuff. I mean, 180 days isn't a short time, it's half a year.
John, they remove all of those things when there's flooding.
Absolutely. I tell them, I'm charging you by the hour to pick it up. I don't want the stuff off the property. I don't want them to have, if they want to put a little fence up for their dog or something, I tell you, it's gotta be removable, because I don't want it in the flood, because it catches all the sticks and stuff, and you gotta clean that up. So, I mean, But if you were to go, I don't know if you're on the GS system or anything, but if you were to, so that's Highway C. So, I don't know if you, so if Highway C is the main road, so that house, if you keep going up, so that is the only property owner that actually someone could walk onto their property. It's 3 acres, roughly. And it was a different owner the last time. And because of that, we put a heavy shrub line along there. And, you know, really, I believe there's also a tree line planted on the long side of that property. You know, it's pretty, so, and it's marked with purple paint, it's pretty clear as to not go there. And if you put up a fence, it's gonna catch stuff in the flood and everybody's gonna be mad about that. You know, also that field has been planted, so it's quite obvious that, as to where that is. It's planted around their property. I think it's got grass in it right now, but it's, you know, like a wheatgrass or something, winter wheat. But if you kept going even more down, you'll see the railroad tracks. You know, and so, you know, so that's a hard boundary between us and anybody else. So, and the other people who are representing whoever else was here, or if you keep going, they own a bunch of property and have a house down to the left corner of that property. And so that's where they drive their ATV down Highway C, over my property, around the marina, to their property, which they've been working on for 10 years, or whatever, how long it's been, you know. They raise, I mean, they've been doing good work, it looks really good. I mean, he's been doing a good job. But, you know, they can't complain about the same thing they're doing. And I don't want ATVs down there. You know, people want to get around on the property to go use the bathroom or get to their boat or whatever, you know, but I don't want them, and everybody that has rented from me does not go into the back area. You know, there's other people down there. There's a lot of other campsites down there. You know, I can't police them too. You know, I can't, you know, if somebody comes on my property with a 4-wheeler that's not from the campground, how can I possibly, you know, and you know, how is that, that's not even part of any of my conditions. You know, and also, and there's never been a complaint that I'm aware of. No one's ever formally complained about it. Probably because they're all doing the same thing. It's all what people do down there.
Okay, I have a question. The staff has recommended some new conditions to the CUP and eliminated some others. Are you familiar with all of those? And this is in the staff report.
I have the report. I asked about it, and they said it was because they updated it, and it didn't seem to change anything. The guy, is there one particular you?
No, the whole, are you familiar
just want you to know,
with all of
be
them?
aware.
It's
Well,
recommendations, so it's page
that's
4.
all those conditions are in the contract also, plus some more. You know, so everything that was wanted by the commission before was put into the contract. And I have other ones that I don't, because I don't want, I don't want to have a trashy spot down there. It's been very well misrepresented as to how I keep it down there. I mean, but, I work pretty hard at keeping the place nice, and they all know that. Yeah, I don't know,
You're aware of these conditions?
I'm aware of these conditions. These conditions are all represented in my contract that everybody has to sign.
Any other questions for the applicant?
Can you reaffirm that you do live there?
It's my office. I don't, that's not my, that's
So
not
you don't live there then?
No, I do not live there. It's my,
Okay, because I thought when you
I said it's my
sworn in,
mailing
you said
address.
that that's your address.
I said it's my mailing address.
Okay, so where do you live?
I live in Godfrey, Illinois. 1003 Robert. We've owned this property. I've owned this property since 2008.
So how often do you go there?
Every day almost.
I mean, those photos, I mean, I wouldn't want that next to me. I mean,
It's not next to, one, it's not next to any of them. It's not next to anybody. That one lot that you're talking about, that they took a picture of is, I don't know, if I can show you where it is on the picture if you want to scroll down. So there's.
It's a campground, guys. It's not a neighborhood.
I get it, but
Yeah.
it's
It's camping. I mean, I've been to so many camping facilities around
I wish
United States, and some of them are
Bring the picture back up.
If you go to Sundom,
Let's look at it.
Some
Let's see what everybody doesn't like about it, you know?
I mean, there's always people not gonna like something that you're doing in a campground, just the way it is. So,
Sundom doesn't like that.
yeah, well, sure, but again, as long as he's following our recommendations, and there hasn't been any complaints about it, and there's nothing filed with the county about it, I do feel bad that these people are complaining about it, but we have to look at the merits of what he's doing down there, and if he's doing what we've asked him to do.
Right here,
we can
this
put more
one's got a
conditions
lot,
on
this
it.
one's got a lot of stuff in it. Let's look at this one. This is probably the one you're talking about. Is this how you use this thing?
They'll do it on the back, there you go.
There you go.
So the lots are laid out back to back, so
Right.
the boat is on someone else's lot.
Right.
We're looking at the front of the lot and the gravel area that the golf cart, I don't want to say their names, but that's the lot behind the lot that's in the front. The table and chairs and swing set are from the lady in the front who has moved out her camper. So that's counts against the 180 days they're not supposed to be there, right? So she's gone. But, I mean, it's not flooding, and part of my flood management plan is when I watch the elevations of the water like everybody else down there. So Highway C starts being inaccessible between 429 and 430. You look at 431, you're driving through 18 inches or more water. So and when you start looking at the prediction, you know, I called them directly, or you know, at first I text them or I email them, but, you know, as I'm watching it, because I don't want anybody's stuff to be trapped down there, because I know that if anybody's thing is trapped, I'm gonna be moving it. So I make sure they get it all out of there. And that's what happens. And I've got equipment down there. If I gotta move something to the Bobcat or my truck or something, I'll do it. I put people's stuff up on my hill if I have to, but the last thing in the world I wanna do is move their stuff.
Sure.
And I don't wanna go pick it up from anywhere else, because it's not only gonna float on other people's property, it's gonna float around on mine. You know, so, I mean, but you're seeing two people's stuff together. I don't know how else to say it, you know. You don't want any permanent structures down there. You don't want fences, because it catches the debris in the floods. I mean, it's, so.
But if you were gonna have a flood, this lady would come down and remove all this stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And if she doesn't, you're doing it? And then what happens to her? Do you fine her for that, or what? I mean, you have it in your contracts for that?
It hasn't happened a lot.
Okay,
I mean,
I'm just
I
asking.
have people come down there with, you know, car trailers and pick up all their stuff and take it to their house, or they rent another spot. You know, they also, you know, they rent, you know, or take it wherever. I don't know where they take it, you know, but.
I get it, John, I'm
I
just
mean, I've
asking.
never had a car in a flood. I've never had somebody have an RV in a flood. That's never happened down there. And it's because, I mean, not only am I dealing with, this is, you know, one part of my business down there, but I also have people who have boats and stuff and things in dry storage, and they have to move, so it's something that, you know, when we know the water is gonna break that line, when they start predicting over 28 to 29 feet and higher, you know, then I know everybody's gotta move everything. But you're looking at a back-to-back lot. I did that so people could pull through the lots. You know, you get people who want to be together. You know, she's actually part of a group of 3 people. Her son's next to her, and you know, so I mean, and they have a few kids. You know, there's a lot of families down there. So, and that's, you know, what it's geared towards. You know, people have all these. They spend all this money on these RVs and stuff, and they can't keep them at their house, and they keep them in their storage yards. So I mean, this is a few people in the county who can come down and enjoy these things during the season, you know, and that's what they do, you know. So, I mean, there was never any kind of stipulation as to what could be left on the property when, you know, Like, as far as a picnic table or something people wanna use when they're there, I don't, it just doesn't seem like a feasible thing to ask somebody.
Now, do you,
Oh, go ahead, John.
do you have a waiting list for people wanting to come in?
I mean, there are people that, I get calls about it all the time, but the first thing I ask somebody when somebody calls me, are you planning on living there? So if the answer is yes, then I'm sorry, this is not for you. This is a recreational place but I'm certain that we would be rented pretty quickly. But it takes time to put them in, it's gonna take a couple months for this process. Last time I was here, the room burst into flames, so we'll see what happens this time.
Roger? First, for staff, this is the first RV park in the county, so is this 180 days, is that normal?
Yes, 180 days is specified in our floodplain ordinance, and it's based on a FEMA standard that recreational vehicles cannot be placed more than 180 days during a calendar year at any one location in a flood zone. And part of that is because FEMA does not want recreational vehicles to become residences. If they are residences, we're part of the National Flood Insurance Program. And under the National Flood Insurance Program, any residence has the possibility of being reimbursed for flood damages. And they don't want recreational vehicles to be considered residences. They don't want people living in recreational vehicles.
Do you have dumpsters on the location for people to put their trash?
Absolutely.
Big dumpsters?
I have I think they're 4-yard dumpsters, which they are full. I get dumped twice a month, and they're full almost all the time because I don't want to lock them because, majority of the trash does not come from the people that I rent to.
Yeah.
Like, there's people who live on the houses out there that don't have any dumpsters, but somehow they get rid of their trash somehow. These things are full all the time, and I have them dumped twice a month, and as soon as I tell the guy who works with me, we better put our stuff in it first, every time they get dumped. But it doesn't come from the people that I rent to. It just, people come down there. But I'm afraid if you can put a chain over them and give everybody a key, but then people are just gonna come down there and throw their trash next to it, and I gotta pick that up. So I just figured it's better to leave them open instead of,
The person that had her RV at this location,
yeah.
and their time was up and they weren't coming back, what would you do with all of that stuff that they left?
Well, it depends if they want to rent it for the
No, I'm
next
saying
year.
they've moved out of, they've moved
But
to Texas.
they're not gonna leave that stuff.
They're not?
No, that doesn't happen. They take their stuff. That person has a lease for this season.
Okay.
So, her RV was there a couple weeks ago. So, I don't know, squirrels and things get into these things and chew on the wires and stuff. So I know she had some problems with them last year, so maybe that's what she didn't tell me, but.
So she's no longer occupying that?
I don't know.
that
It's
picture-
during her time.
If she's no longer there, it appears that she left the stuff there then.
I don't see it that way. I know it's her stuff, and I'm not gonna take it and throw it away. I can call her and tell her to pick it up for you. I don't quite understand the question. She's renting the space for so long.
Okay.
She can't leave her tables and chairs there while she does something else with her RV. I don't know what she's doing with her RV.
So she may be camping and taking it to the Grand Canyon, and we get a flood, and then what happened? You have to go do it?
If in that event, yes, I'd pick it up for her. Or her son would come down and get it, because her son is the next spot to her.
Can you reaffirm that they're only there for 180 days and less?
Yeah, that's what's in the contract.
I know that's what's in the contract, but.
Well, people move their stuff all the time, move their RV all the time. And some people, I have a lot of people that, re-rent, but nobody lives there at all.
So Robert, with this 180-day requirement, I could be there 3 months in the summer, be there 90 days in the summer, and then I want to go to the mountains, go to Montana. But then I could come back and use up my other 90 days that I've rented here.
Yeah, the ordinance says specifically 180, no more than 180 days per calendar year.
Yeah.
It doesn't specify,
When?
yeah, it doesn't say no more than 180-day period. It's-
It doesn't have, yeah, it can be 180 days, not 180 consecutive days, just 180 days during the calendar year.
Right.
So I can come and go.
It doesn't specify which 180 days.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at, yeah.
Do you have a way of keeping track of that?
I'm down there so much, so I know, that's.
But you
Like
guys
I
have to
said, nobody's
remember,
ever-
they're leasing those spaces for the whole year. They can only be there for 180 days of that whole year.
But their stuff could be there all year.
Sure.
But it's not always, it's
Yeah.
not there all year.
Yeah, they don't leave.
It happened, that stuff is there on that day.
Yeah.
He needs to come and he needs to take a picture every day of the year to prove anything.
Right.
He lives close, he's come by and do it, I don't care. Because he comes across my property all the time. He'll be taking it from his side by side with his kids, which is fine. That's what people are supposed to do down there.
Okay.
You know.
Any other questions for the applicant?
Yeah. We're good.
Anybody, Mr. Cornwell, you have any questions? Anything? Okay, thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions, comments, questions for staff? Hearing none, the chair will entertain a motion to approve CUP 25-01, subject to the conditions set forth in the staff report. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Fromm, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Cornwell, second. Mr. Shell, how do you vote?
No.
Mr. Baker?
No.
Ms. Bamer?
No.
Mr. Cornwell?
No.
Mr. Fromm?
Yes.
Ms. Kirchner?
No.
And I vote yes, it fails 5-2. Okay, this will be heard on the Monday, May 12th County Council agenda. Okay, back to the agenda now. Where am I at?
You want,
Okay.
CUP 2502.
Yep. Next on the agenda is a conditional use permit located at 3151 Hopewell Road, CUP 25-02. Property owner is JR Properties Group LLC. The applicant is Amundsen Davis LLC. Current zoning is RR Single Family Residential District with flood fringe overlay district with FW, floodway overlay district. Conditional use request is a lawn care service. The 2030 master plan recommends low density residential 1 to 4 dwellings per acre. The CUP area is 3.27 acres. The location is 3151 Hopewell Road, located on the north side of Hopewell Road, approximately 1,000 feet east of Hoffman Road, near the city of O'Fallon. This is located in Council District 2. Staff.
This conditional use request is for a lawn care service. The UDO requires that lawn care services in rural residential zoning districts be located on a lot greater than 1 acre, and that all lawn care material and equipment or vehicles be stored inside of a building, which the applicant has indicated will be adhered to. The applicant intends to construct a new metal building while making improvements such as paving the gravel drive and parking lot and installing landscape buffers. The business will operate from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. No customers or retail services will be present at the property. 5 outdoor parking spaces will be provided to employees with additional parking in the new building. Adjacent land uses include various contracting services and supply, some of which include landscaping and lawn care services. To the southeast of the subject parcel is a single-family dwelling. All new commercial development requires a front yard landscape buffer, which is shown on the concept plan, and a Type 2 landscape buffer will be required on the northwestern property line that borders 3037 Hopewell Road. A Type 2 landscape buffer is required when a commercial land use borders a property of a residential use. The Planning and Zoning Division recommends that the Planning and Zoning Commission recommend approval with the conditions listed in the staff report as the application complies with Section 405, 510B of the UDO.
Any questions for staff? Hearing none, we'll ask the applicant to come forward. You solemnly swear or affirm that you'll tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in these proceedings from the pains and penalties of perjury.
I do.
Please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Elizabeth Lum with Amundsen Davis, counsel for the applicant. Address is 7711 Carondelet, Suite 800, St. Louis, Missouri, 63105. And just a couple of bits of housekeeping before I get started. First off, Ms. Hayes, I did not sign a comment card. Do you need me to do that? Sure. Okay, I can do that after. And then next, I do have a presentation. I've got hard copies if you'd like them. I'm happy to hand them out. And then, did you have it from last month by chance?
I do not. The presentations from last month?
Yeah.
I do not.
Okay, no problem, no problem. And I didn't have I don't have a flash drive with me, so if that's all right, I'm happy to hand the commission hard copies, and then we can maybe use the projector here.
Sure. Did you change the name of the firm?
It used to be Smith Amundsen, and 2022, I think, we merged with a firm in Wisconsin called Davis Cluthow, and so we kind of combined all the names.
You see Brad at all anymore?
He
retired. Yeah, I knew he retired. Yeah.
He did. He checks in with us from time to time, so kind of likes to keep his hand in what's going on, if you know Brad.
Well, tell him we miss him.
Will do. All right. Okay. Do you need me to turn that?
No, you're fine.
You're good? All right. Well, now we'll go ahead and get started. Again, Elizabeth Lum, counsel for the applicant. I want to thank staff for their cooperation and working with us on this. I'd like to make clear, first off, that we are not requesting a rezoning of the property. We're just requesting a conditional use permit, which of course is a use that would be allowed in the rural residential district so long as there are there may be some conditions or requirements put on it for the applicant to follow. Moving on to the next page, the property is located in a rural residential district. It's approximately 3 acres. And just kind of for reference again, these are some of the conditional uses in a rural residential district. If you kind of take a look and, think about our client's use, we're talking about maybe 5 or 6 cars coming in at 7 a.m., picking up equipment, going out, and another 5 or, the equipment coming back about 6 p.m. So maybe 20 trips a day with the fence and the landscaping that we're going to put in. I believe it's probably less impact than some of those other conditional uses. All right, the property overview is located off of Hopewell Road. The property here outlined in red is what we're looking at. To the, I want to say southwest is empty lot. I believe it is used or has been used in the past for some kind of landscaping or outdoor furnishing. The property to the northeast is owned by our client and actually was approved for a conditional use permit for a lawn care business a couple of years ago. Our client decided that he wanted to keep that property clear for now and move over to this neighboring property.
So is there still a CUP on that piece of property?
I believe so. It's a 2110.
From 2110?
No, it's CUP number 21, -10.
10th CUP in 2021.
Correct.
Because it's 2 years, right? If they don't,
Yeah.
a CUP's for 2 years, so if they haven't used
Yeah,
it, it's
so-
expired, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah,
that's no
so,
longer.
anyway, moving on to the
So hold on,
surrounding,
so hold on.
I'm sorry,
So why is he not using that property if it was already approved?
it's, didn't wanna,
And now he's doing it on this piece of property?
correct.
Okay.
Correct.
All right, go ahead.
He just decided that
Keep
that
going.
one, this
All
one
right,
is better
keep going.
suited for his purposes,
'Cause I
so.
thought we did approve that. Didn't we approve something else down there recently, or in the last couple of years? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and that's exactly where I'm
Okay.
going next, is if
All
you
right.
go up to the northeast, the next property there is 3133 Hopewell, which had a couple of conditional use permits approved in 2022. And then the property at 3037 Hopewell, again, has a couple of older conditional use permits for similar uses. Starting with the property at 3133, where the Salt Dome is, it's got two conditional use permits, one for lawn care and one for boat storage. The St. Charles County GIS still shows that property is vacant, but when you Google those addresses, those two businesses, the BLCS Landscaping Irrigation and Gilligan's Boat Storage, pop up. So there is at least some intent to use them for those purposes there. The property at 3037 is, it does have a residence on it. Again, when you do a quick Google search of the address, what comes up is Renaud Brothers Heating and Cooling, so it's kind of used for business purpose as well. If you look kind of at the back of the property where it abuts the subject property, you can see kind of the garage and some of the commercial stuff back there. And then, of course, the property at 3153 Hopewell Road, which we just discussed, was approved for a conditional use permit for a lawn care business a couple years ago. And our client just kind of changed his mind about what he wanted to do with the property. All right, moving on to our concept plan. And hopefully you're able to see that. The client intends to pave the drive going up there and the surrounding parking areas. He wants to put in a large metal storage building. And then there's also an existing metal building on the property that he intends to kind of paint or otherwise improve to aesthetically match the new building that he's putting up. He's planned a line of 10 trees here between the driveway and the property directly to the east to serve as a buffer should that property ever be used for residential purposes. And then he's got a couple of arbor vitae trees back here where it touches on the residential property. That space there is very small. It's only about 50 feet. So, you know, the buffer is what will fit. Okay, so again, we've just got a breakdown of the proposed improvements, which you can see. The other thing he plans to put in is a 6-foot vinyl fence surrounding the property. And that will be both for security and screening. Following page, you've got just kind of an example of the type of building our client is proposing. Would have garage doors where the lawn care equipment would be stored indoors during the day, or excuse me, during the evening when it's not in use. Potentially a small office space would be in there, but I don't believe he anticipates it being occupied all the time. There won't be customers there. It'll be a place for his employees to go in and out. You've also got an example of the kind of fence that he proposes. And the landscape plan, again, we're putting in arbor vitae, or they tend to put in some arbor vitae trees, which grow to be pretty full along the driveway, and then again buffering the residential property. All right. Finally, we've got a listing of the requirements set forth in the UDO, and I'll cover these in greater detail on subsequent slides. The first, of course, is the proposed use will not be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, or general welfare. Again, this is limited to indoor storage of grass cutting, lawn care equipment. There will be no outdoor storage. This is a very similar use to what the surrounding properties are using. Approximately 20 trips in or out of the property on any given day. The county has recommended, or staff has recommended, some limitations on lighting, operation of noisy equipment, parking and storage outdoors, and the applicant has no problem with those. Those are things he all intends to do. The conditional use will not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other properties, again, because the surrounding properties are put to very similar uses, and he'll improve the aesthetics of the property overall. The conditional use will not substantially diminish or impair property values. Again, this abuts Hopewell Road, which is designated as Rural Collector Street. On the 2030 master plan, it shows that having direct access will reduce the need to have the applicant travel across residential or other less traveled roads. You can see there's another residential development going in here, Harvest at Hopewell. We're sufficiently removed for that there's no, there won't be any interference with that. And last, the proposed use is compliant with the 2030 master plan. And with that, and the staff recommended approval with the conditions listed in their staff report. With that, happy to answer any questions.
Will there be, when they're talking about operation of noisy equipment, will there be someone at the building doing maintenance of equipment?
Not at that location, I don't believe. If, I would say if it is, it would be very minor stuff, not, you know, I mean, potentially, I guess, maybe an oil change on a lawnmower or something, but I do not believe there'd be any major repairs being done at that site.
Okay. And then I have a question for, the recommendation is a business operation be conducted only from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. What are we defining as business? Because in summertime, I've got, you know, people are going to show up at 6 or 6:30 to start hauling the trucks out, and I can mow till 8 o'clock at night. What are we defining as business between 7 and 6?
I would say being present at the property, showing up and leaving.
Yeah, and we did discuss this issue with our client. My understanding of the way the business works is that his employees will come in between 6:30 and 7 o'clock in the morning. They drop off their personal cars, they pick up their equipment, and then they leave again. And then they come back about, you know, dinner time, because again, his employees also need to go home. So they come in, drop off the equipment, clean it up, pick up their personal vehicles, and then go home.
Okay. Then my other question for staff, this is lawn service only, this doesn't include snow removal?
This is for, the CUP is for lawn care service, but I would say it's very customary for grass cutting businesses in the wintertime, they do a limited amount of snow removal. And so we've considered that to be like a minor supplemental use, if
Kind
you
of like
want
an
to call it.
ancillary.
Yeah, and it happens for 5 days a year or something like that. I don't know how many days a year, but.
Depends on, I guess, the
Well,
year.
unless you
Yeah.
have a contract to do a lot of public parking lots and all that type of stuff, so.
I have a question. On the conditions, it does not state no exterior storage of equipment, like snow plows?
I believe that's written into the ordinance.
Is it,
not?
okay, so it's covered in the ordinance?
That's already a part of the ordinance.
Okay, perfect.
For like, that covers the CUP.
Because it doesn't list it as a condition.
It's like a prerequisite to the CUP.
Thank you.
Does your client anticipate doing snow removal?
I don't know.
That would change the time
Yeah.
drastically.
Usually you're out at 2 and 3 in the morning,
Yeah.
and you're, you know.
And if you're backing up trucks, and I don't know if you have the rear, you know.
No, he hasn't indicated to us that he does. He has represented to us that it's generally 7 a.m. to 6 p.m.
So your client was comfortable with the hours, that's part of the recommendation, sounds like?
He's been pretty consistent with representing that to us, yes.
Okay. Any other questions for the applicant? Hearing none, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll now open the public hearing for CUP 25-02, which is a conditional use, no, I'm. No, that's right, yeah.
Got right.
Yeah. Hang on. You ready?
Yep.
You solemnly swear or affirm that you tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in these proceedings or the pains and penalties of perjury.
Yes, I do.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Arnie C. A.C. Dienoff, County Public Advocate, mailing address P.O. Box 1535 in O'Fallon. I like this application. It's consolidating these lawn care businesses really in one location. So I'm in favor of this application. I want to make sure and ensure that all equipment shall remain inside. That's part of the ordinance, is what we heard. We want to treat this business as we treated all the other businesses that have come before this commission. The hours of operation, I think, are sensible, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. I want to ensure that the noise, part of our code, the decibel level is being not exceeded. The type 2 landscape buffer, I'd rather see a type 3 landscape buffer. They're going to put in a vinyl fence on the border of the property. I want to ensure that all setbacks are adhered to. And with that fence, I believe that this would probably come close to a qualification for a type 3 landscape buffer. I do have some concerns, as the property owner does own the salt dome that you approved back in '22. Obviously, if he's got the salt dome, it kind of sounds like he's in the snow removal business. I would ask that you address that as one of the conditions so there's not a problem in the future. As we all know, this corridor is a growing corridor in terms of residential development. I'm sure this property probably will not remain a landscape business in future, I don't know, maybe 5 or 10 years. I would assume this property would probably be gobbled up by a development and term residential. For those reasons, I support this application with the following conditions that I mentioned. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wishing to speak regarding CUP 25-02? Anyone? Hearing no one, ask the applicant to come back. Yeah, you can come back and tell us that you don't own the salt dome.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just for the record, the Salt Dome is actually on neighboring property and not on ours.
Yeah, does your client own the salt dome?
Does our client own that property with the
Yeah.
Salt Dome? No.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Oh, anybody, hold up, any other questions for the applicant? Okay, thank you. Any questions regarding CUP 25-02? Questions, comments? Hearing none, the chair will entertain a motion to approve CUP 25-02, which is a conditional use permit located at 3151 Hopewell Road, subject to the recommendations set forth in the staff report. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion, Mr. Cornwell, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Fromm?
Yes.
Ms. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Baker?
Yes.
Ms. Bamer?
Yes.
Mr. Shell?
Yes, sir.
And I vote yes. Okay, now we're down to zoning map amendment request at 3733 Houston Road. The application is RZ 25-03. The property owner is Houston Road LLC. The applicant is Houston Road LLC. Current zoning is A agricultural district. Proposed zoning is L1 light industrial district. The 2030 master plan recommends industrial land uses. The rezoned area consists of 10 acres. The location is 3733 Houston Road, located 2,000 feet north of Elm Point Road on the west side of Houston Road, adjacent to the city of St. Charles. This is located in Council District 6. Staff.
The applicant is requesting the St. Charles County amend the zoning map for a 10-acre parcel located on the west side of Houston Road, adjacent to the city of St. Charles, from A agricultural to I1 light industrial. The applicant intends to develop the property for outdoor storage of tractor trailers and shipping containers. Under the current agricultural zoning, the storage of tractor trailers or shipping containers is not permitted. Rezoning the property to I1 would allow the proposed outdoor storage yard, subject to an approval of a conditional use permit.
Do what?
Chair, I got a quick question. On my agenda, that last item was the last item on the agenda. Do I have a different agenda than everybody else?
We have the two more. We have this zoning map amendment.
I don't, it's whatever.
No, we have another one after this, preliminary plat after this.
No,
Yeah.
not on mine, but.
So this
okay.
one's Huster Road, right? We're on
Yes.
Huster Road?
Yep.
Okay.
You have an
I
extra.
printed off the agenda right before the meeting. That's online, and it does show this Houston Road rezoning, and then one other.
It's just
Application.
not on my agenda here.
Okay.
The last one was the Hopewell, so.
But you still have to stay. That doesn't.
Okay. He was getting ready to leave, wasn't he?
Yeah,
I can see it.
Make a motion.
All right, yeah.
In addition to the current agricultural zoning, in March of 2011, St. Charles County established a wellhead protection overlay district to complement a similar ordinance within the city of St. Charles, which was established in the 1990s. The goal of the wellhead protection district is to, quote, protect the quality of groundwater serving public alluvial wells by regulating and restricting land uses within boundary perimeters surrounding wellheads of such wells, end quote. This property has been under the wellhead protection zoning since 2011. In recent years, the city of St. Charles has decommissioned 6 of their 7 water wells located within the Elm Point well field, which is in the same wellhead protection area as the subject property. The reason for the water wells being decommissioned is due to groundwater contamination deriving from several sources in the area. Since then, the site has been designated as an EPA Superfund site. Aside from groundwater concerns, the subject property is also located within a flood hazard zone, with the Mississippi River located 3 miles to the north of the property. Most recently, the subject property was inundated during the 2019 flood event. County zoning designates the property as floodway fringe, and based on topographic data, the ground elevation of the subject property is approximately 10 feet lower than both the neighboring property to the north and the estimated base flood elevation. The county's floodplain development regulations allow land in the floodway fringe overlay district to be filled with clean fill to elevate sites to be above or at the base flood elevation. In terms of analyzing the rezoning requests, agricultural land uses in the area north of Elm Point Road and south of Highway 370 have over the past 4 decades steadily converted to industrial, warehouse, and outdoor storage uses. The surrounding zoning of parcels to the north, although located within the corporate limits of the city of St. Charles, are industrial. Similarly, those parcels function as outdoor storage sites for tractor trailers and shipping containers, landscaping contractor yards, and clean fill sites. When it comes to transportation, the presence of the Norfolk Southern Railway line 2,000 feet to the south and the presence of the Missouri Highway 370 located 2,000 feet to the north are 3 factors which have long favored industrial land uses for this area. Additionally, Harry S. Truman Boulevard and Newtown Boulevard facilitate the transportation of these industrial areas to Highway 370. For public water supply, the county has a collective group of standards to protect the groundwater in this area. For example, the proposed tractor-trailer storage yard would require a separate conditional use permit, which would allow the county to impose and enforce conditions. Additionally, the county will require that the tractor-trailer storage yard at this location be paved so that stormwater runoff can be collected and filtered before leaving the site. This is further reinforced by the master plan, which states that outdoor storage and heavy industrial uses may be appropriate in specific contexts and should be evaluated on a case-by-case basis through the conditional use permit and site plan review processes. Given the reasons cited in this presentation and the written staff report, county staff recommends that the Planning and Zoning Commission recommend approval of this rezoning application.
Any questions for staff? Hearing none, we'll ask the applicant to come forward. You solemnly swear or affirm that you tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in these proceedings or the pains and penalties of perjury.
Yes, I do.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Michael Miners, President of St. Charles Engineering and Surveying, 801 South 5th Street, St. Charles, Missouri.
Go ahead, sir.
As mentioned by the staff, we're requesting to rezone this parcel from agricultural to industrial, light industrial. The partners on this property own properties to the north that are currently zoned industrial. Actually, several properties to the north are zoned industrial. The property to the south is zoned industrial. The property to the west is zoned industrial, and this area is earmarked by the comprehensive plan as industrial. Currently, the partners in this property are filling the property to the north and in the process of turning that into a storage yard for trailers and, as mentioned, and boxes for storage. Once we get this, hopefully we get this property rezoned, we will be coming forward and requesting approval of a site plan and conditional use permit for the storage of vehicles, not just trailers, but other potential vehicles, RVs, depending on the demand for future storage of equipment, boats, potentially the normal type of storage yard. As mentioned, the ordinance requires the property where vehicles are stored to be paved. And we will have if I could get the viewfinder to, I have a little exhibit to show.
It's up there.
There you go. And basically what we're going to do at the lower end, we're going to have, we're going to elevate the site, first of all. As mentioned, it's about 10 feet below the 100-year flood elevation. We're planning on elevating it. We'll have a kind of a drive at the bottom of the picture, south end, into an area where we would store the vehicles. To the far west is where we'll treat the water. All the water from the site will go to the west and be treated for any potential hydrocarbons that would potentially make it out of any vehicles to prevent contamination of the well district. And other than that, I think the staff report explains things properly, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Now, when you say this has to be paved, we're talking
Asphalt or
asphalt or
concrete.
concrete?
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions for the applicant? Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We'll now open the public hearing for RZ 25-03. Anyone wishing to speak? You solemnly swear or affirm that you'll tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in these proceedings or the pains and penalties of perjury?
Yes, I do. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. My name is Arnie C. A.C. Dienoff, mailing address P.O. Box 1535, O'Fallon. I'm not going to make a stance either for or against this project. I'm going to leave that up to you. It seems like we have a lot of storage areas on the north end of the unincorporated county portion that abuts the city of St. Charles. I do like the staff's recommendation, and we need to adhere to retention detention and meeting state and county M4 regulations. We need to be serious about water management in this area as it floods and there's a lot of contaminants. And of course, we don't want the groundwater to be contaminated as what was done by Ameren UE and other suspects in northern St. Charles. The flood brings a lot of environmental concerns. And so there needs to be a mitigation plan by the applicant of how he's going to take care of this if and when the property does flood. Is he going to remove all the equipment? Is the building that's going to be constructed there, is it going to have open doors? What is going to be the mitigation and the environmental impact and his response? For those reasons, I'll leave it up to you whether this rezoning becomes approved or not. But we really need to be mindful of, we don't want our unincorporated northern St. Charles to turn into just a storage lot type issue. And so I'll leave that issue up to you. Thank you.
Oh, Arnie?
Yes.
Say allegedly Ameren caused the contamination.
You'll get yourself in trouble.
Allegedly Ameren and other
Yeah, there you
suspected
go.
suspects. But,
No,
I mean, what
we'll
I've
see.
read. Yeah.
Anyone else wishing to speak regarding RZ 25-03? We'll close the public hearing. Any questions for the applicant? Okay, now all that we're doing is rezoning.
Correct.
Any further use of this would have to come back to the commission, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so all we're doing, this will be rezoning from A agricultural to light industrial.
So moved.
Seconded.
Okay, Mr. Shell made the motion, Ms. Vamer seconded. Mr. Cornwell, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ms. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Fromm?
Yes.
Mr. Baker?
Yes.
Ms. Vamer?
Yes.
Mr. Shell?
Yes, sir.
And I vote yes. Okay. Well, no, this had Kevin Cleary's name in here.
Should have called him. Probably would have answered.
Yeah. Okay. Back to the agenda. Okay. Last but not least, this is a preliminary plat for Westland subdivision located at 425 Towers Road and 433 Towers Road. The application number is PRE 25-04. The property owners are Dan Mitchell Properties LLC and Thomas J. Batchett. Did I get that right? Surveyors BFA Incorporated, Adam Brinkman. The current zoning is R1E, single-family residential. The proposed lots are 5. The parcel area is 1.71 acres. The location is 4025 Towers Road, located at the southwest corner of John Meyer Drive and Towers Road. This is in Council District 7. Staff.
This preliminary plat would create 5 new lots along Towers Road. The property is zoned R1E along with all surrounding parcels. Single-family residential development completely surrounds these parcels. The requested subdivision will have a minimum lot size of 7,000 square feet and will be served by Missouri American Water Company and Duckett Creek Sewer District. Typically, all lots within a subdivision must have an internal subdivision street, but with this development, there's not sufficient lot depth, so we didn't require a internal street. 2 new access points will be needed, one along Towers Road and one along John Meyer Drive. County staff finds that the subject plat meets the technical requirements of Chapter 410 of the UDO, other than the requirement that all lots must have driveway access to an internal street. Under Section 410, 480D of the subdivision regulations, the Planning and Zoning Commission can allow lots to take access from adjoining county roads where there is a topographic hardship, or if an equal or better alternative can be provided. In this case, county staff would support such a waiver because there's an equal or better alternative which would not compromise traffic flow or safety for this plat.
Any questions for staff?
Yeah, I do.
Sure.
You said it has access to John Meyer and the towers? Because I'm not seeing that on.
It's on the right.
There's 2 subject properties. One of the subject properties that's being split up is a corner lot on John Meyer Drive and Towers Road.
It's lot number 5.
Yes.
Right here? So we're coming this way?
So on lot number 5, they would have to take access from John Meyer because there is a storm sewer on that fronts Towers Road. There would be no way.
So just lot 5 is the only one front?
Yes.
Okay, I got
Yeah.
you.
Any other questions for staff? Seeing none, I'll ask the applicant to come forward. You solemnly swear or affirm that you'll tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in these proceedings or the pains and penalties of perjury.
I do, so help me God.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Tom Batch, 8710 Party Lane, St. Louis County.
Go ahead, sir.
I purchased these properties, there's 2 homes on it, and I noticed that the subdivision across the street and the zoning was 7,000 square foot. We're adding, you mentioned 5, actually 3 new lots. There's 2 existing homes being rehabbed at this point. And the lots are double the size of the zoning district and the surrounding homes that are there. So it's, it's a nice lot for a congested area. So that's basically it.
So with lots 2 and 3, how will they access Towers Road? Just through driveway straight out to the road?
Yeah,
Okay.
They've been there since 62, I think, these homes that were there.
Okay, well, the lot 1 and lot 4 are the existing homes?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll be adding 2 more driveways in between those 2?
Well, that was my first approach, but he had mentioned that he wants a twin driveway, basically? A shared driveway.
For lots 2 and 3?
Yeah.
There would be one new access point on Towers Road.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't have a problem with that. That's, you know,
That makes more sense.
It looks
Okay.
like lot 4 encroaches on lot 3 with the driveway. Are you removing that?
well, I probably have to adjust it to one, to meet the center of each, or the boundary line.
Yeah. And then lot 5 will exit onto John Meyer Road.
Right.
Any questions?
I guess the propane tank's gonna be moved to lot 1 and then that shed.
Yeah,
lot
that's gonna
3.
go to the Amish. They use it for air, and run their equipment on it, so. Or some kid who can play a submarine on it.
Any other questions for the applicant? Hearing none, thanks, sir.
All right.
We'll now open the public hearing for PRE 25-04. Anyone wishing to speak? You solemnly swear or affirm that you'll tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in these proceedings under the pains and penalties of perjury.
Yes, I do. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. My name is Arnie C. A.C. Dienoff, County Public Advocate, mailing address P.O. Box 1535 in O'Fallon. I'm for this proposed application. It's smart growth. He's got the square footage. It makes sense for the community. However, he did bring up the ever growing traffic counts of Towers Road. My question is, why not build a roadway off of John Meyer Drive to service all 5 of these households? I guess the 2 that are existing currently have the driveways, but at least the 3, we can get them off of Towers Road and onto John Meyer Drive. I'd like the commission to consider having them build an internal roadway. It just, makes sense to get it off of Towers Road. That road is becoming an increasing busy, congested roadway. And those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak regarding PRE 25-04? Seeing no one, we will close the public hearing. Anyone have any additional questions for the applicant? Hearing none, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the preliminary plat for the Westland subdivision at 4025 and 4033 Towers Road, PRE
Moved.
2504. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Hamer, Mr. Cornwell, Mr. Fromm.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Shell?
Yes.
Mr. Baker?
Yes.
Ms. Bamer?
Yes.
Mr. Cornwell?
Yes.
Ms. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Clary? And I vote yes. How does the name get on there, Robert?
Who knows?
Okay, that concludes our agenda as far as applications go. Next thing on the agenda is approval of the January 15th, 2025 Planning and Zoning meeting minutes. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections to those minutes?
No.
I'll make a motion to approve the January 15th minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the January 15th, 2025 meeting minutes. All in favor, sign aye.
Aye.
Next, Chair will entertain a motion to approve the February 19th, 2025 Planning and Zoning meeting minutes. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections?
None.
Hearing none, Chair will entertain a motion to approve those minutes. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of approving the February 19th, 2025 meeting minutes, sign aye.
Aye.
Next is approval of the March 19th, 2025 Planning and Zoning Commission minutes. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections?
I wish we had more pictures, but it's good.
Yeah. Hearing none, Chair will entertain a motion to approve the March 19th, 2025 meeting minutes. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
The motion's been made and seconded to approve the March 19th, 2025 Planning and Zoning Commission meetings. All in favor, sign aye.
Aye.
Okay, those are passed. Updates, Mr. Meyer.
Quickly, I thought I would add one thing. Frequently, we have comments or questions about school district input for rezonings and plats. Just to let everyone know, it's, we usually do not receive comments on rezoning and plats from school districts, although we do notify them. When we do receive comments, about 98% of the time, it's about transportation of students. They'll say, just for the record, the school bus will not go down this particular street unless the cul-de-sac is a certain size, you know, it's that sort of thing. School districts, in my more than 30 years, I've never received a letter from a school district saying, don't approve this because we don't have room in a school. They just don't do that. I thought I would mention that in the context of today, though, or yesterday, we did receive a survey from Wentzville School District asking the different jurisdictions to help them compile a list of lots and residential developments that are in process, because they're trying to get an understanding of what the demand will be for future residences coming online over the next 5+ years. So we've submitted that in terms of the unincorporated county. I'm sure they're doing the same for other jurisdictions. So I do know that they have a midterm and long-term planning for school districts. But on the other hand, they just don't submit letters to jurisdictions saying, don't approve this.
How is the master plan project going?
It's going well. There's been a lot of progress made on future land use categories. Let's see, goals and et cetera, drafting of these. And they're being prepared for the next upcoming meeting of the Master Plan Steering Committee, which has not been scheduled yet. But we are preparing intently to provide a set of recommendations to the Master Plan Steering Committee.
When will that finally hit here?
The current schedule is that the master plan, a draft master plan would come to the county council in this August. I don't know if it'll be this August or September, I'm not really sure about the date, but to the Planning and Zoning Commission, it's going to come before that time, so in the next few months.
Okay. Anyone else, any questions?
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, sign aye.
Aye.